Good evening, everyone. This is the Countercurrent show. Today is the 21st of January 2019, and today I will be discussing the news story involving a group of high school students from Covington High School, based in Kentucky. Normally, a story like this wouldn't be newsworthy, but it's more about the mainstream media's reaction to this matter, in that they completely misrepresented what actually went on. Both Tim Pool and Ben Shapiro and many other journalists have done a great job on reporting the mainstream media's malfeasance in covering this story. However, it must be said that Tim Pool and Ben Shapiro are both Americans. Many of the corrections that were made regarding the story were done by American publications. Canadian networks, however, have not been as forthright on their corrections. This is so disgraceful. On CBC, for example, you can find two articles by the Associated Press simply reported under the CBC banner. So they copied the Associated Press's article, obviously with their permission, and ran the story. Problem is, the story was completely flawed in both articles. But the CBC didn't issue corrections. This is the problem with a media party. This is the problem with having a centralized media complex. It is a North American media complex that, of course, extends far beyond the North American continent, but when Canadian news outlets print American news, they're not made to correct errors that were printed, despite the fact that what they print oftentimes is fake news. The reason why this needs to be reported, the reason why this is news, this is important news to cover, is because we cannot have fake news being spread around like this, like wildfire. And it does not matter if CBC did not write the article. They can't simply be spreading these stories that are already ruining the lives of these teens, these high school teens. Frankly, these high school teens did nothing wrong. All they did was perform high school chants. And the one boy that the media has been having a huge problem with, that a lot of Canadian commenters have had a huge problem with, merely smirked at a native man who is presumably a Vietnam War vet, although since he lied about this account, I will not believe him until I see it. He claimed that the high school students were hurling racial epithets at him. That's what he claimed on CNN, on television. He lied. Maybe there were a few students in the back that were mocking his drumming, but frankly, the Hebrew Israelites were the ones responsible. The Hebrew Israelites are essentially a group of African Americans who believe that they were the original Jews, that they're the original or the intended inheritors of the state of Israel. And they were hurling racial epithets at the teens. Not much was said about that, though. In the Associated Press articles that the CBC did not retract, nor did they correct in any way, shape, or form, that was not mentioned. Tim Pool did awesome coverage. Right, giving a shout out to Tim Pool here, did awesome coverage of this event when he viewed and put on his YouTube channel a 2-hour video of the entire encounter. The teenagers were not the ones instigating this event. The boy that the left in America fantasized about punching in the face and doxing, releasing his personal information to the public, was merely smirking because he didn't want to lose his cool in front of a Native American drummer who came up into his face. The Native American drummer, by all accounts, by all corrected accounts, could have simply walked away. But no, that is not what happened. Here, let me show you some of this garbage. Right here. I've only managed to find 2 articles from the CBC regarding this story. Let's read it together. Part of it. Diocese? However you pronounce it. In Kentucky has apologized after videos emerged showing students from an all-male Catholic high school mocking indigenous Americans outside the Lincoln Memorial after a rally in Washington. The Indigenous Peoples March in Washington on Friday coincided with the March for Life, which drew thousands of anti-abortion protesters, including a group from Covington Catholic High School in Park Hills, Kentucky. Interesting how CBC actually labels this anti-abortion. Well, abortion is a travesty. It's a moral failing in our society, so it's pretty good to be anti-abortion. Videos circulating online show a youth standing extremely close to a Native American man as he chanted and played a drum. Other students, some wearing Covington clothing and many wearing red Make America Great Again hats and sweatshirts, surrounded them, laughing and jeering. On Saturday, groups traded blame online for who was responsible for the confrontation, with competing videos purporting to show the Catholic students being insulted by black religious activists before the confrontation with Native American veteran Nathan Phillips. Phillips told the Associated Press on Sunday that he felt compelled to get between the black religious activists and the mostly white students with his ceremonial drum to defuse a potentially dangerous situation. The teen at the center of the video, Nick Sandman, said in a statement on Sunday that he did nothing to provoke anyone and sought to calm the situation. In an email to the Associated Press, Sandman said students were waiting at the Lincoln Memorial for buses to return to Kentucky on Friday when 4 African-American protesters there began insulting them. He said the students began yelling school spirit chants to drown out the protesters, and he did not hear students chant anything hateful or racist at any time. Students could be expelled. In a joint statement on Saturday, the Roman Catholic Diocese, however you pronounce it, of Covington and Covington Catholic High School apologized to Phillips. Officials said they are investigating and will take appropriate action up to and including expulsion. All of this is to equate all 3 parties, being one of them being the Covington Catholic High School students, the second being the Hebrew Israelites, whom are not mentioned by name in this article. They're mentioned by as black religious activists. They're not black religious activists. They're cult leaders, okay? These are African Americans who believe they are Jews. They are the real Jews. They called them incest-bred people. They called the teens incest-bred kids. They called them crackers. They called them all sorts of racial epithets. They called one of the black students the N-word. Yes, these are African Americans using the N-word as a pejorative against a black student. We extend our deepest apologies to Mr. Phillips, the statement read. This behavior is opposed to the Church's teachings on the dignity and respect of the human person. Wow. According to the Indian Country Today website, Phillips is an Omaha elder and Vietnam veteran who holds an annual ceremony honoring Native American veterans at Arlington National Cemetery. The man has no integrity. Okay? I'm just gonna go out here and say this. The man has no integrity. You cannot hide behind the excuse that you're a war veteran to lie about other people. Marcus Frejo, a member of the Pawnee and Seminole tribes, who is also, apologize if I mispronounced it, who is also known as Chief Imk, I'm not going to pretend to know how to pronounce this. Sorry about this. Said he had been a part of the march and was among a small group of people remaining after the rally when the boisterous students began chanting slogans such as Make America Great, and then began doing the haka, a traditional Maori dance. Really? So, Freyo's just gonna, in this little excerpt here, just assumes that the students are mocking the dance. Which, frankly, I'm not even sure what to say about that. Don't get in their faces. An online statement claiming to be from a Covington student who was at the scene said Phillips was beating his drum directly in the face of my friend. Wow. Although he feared a mob mentality that could turn ugly, Trejo said he was at peace singing despite the scorn. Where was the scorn? Where was the scorn? Look at this. The behavior of some students was insensitive but does not appear hostile, as both groups can be seen smiling early on. It's worth noting Nathan Phillips beats his drum in the face of another boy in a completely different direction before moving toward the second boy. I'm not gonna force you to watch all these videos. You can do that on your own time. Consistent with the student's story, the tension begins to build as Phillips beats the drum in the student's face for several minutes. When an argument breaks out between a student and a Native American, the student with the drum in his face turns back and tries to defuse it. Let's watch this, if this works. So this kid's just staring. This kid's just staring. He could have moved anywhere he wanted. See, now the thing is, he accuses the students of surrounding him. You gotta make note of the fact that he was standing there for a long time. What was he doing? He was playing a song. There was no indication at any time that he was prevented from escaping. This is not a mob. This is docile. People are curious. Some kids may be a little immature. That's the way they are when they're 15 or 16 years old. So that was it? Okay. We're not supposed to have walls here. They went from mocking us and laughing at us to singing with us. I heard it 3 times, Freyo said. That spirit moved through us, that drum, and it slowly started to move through some of these youths. Blah, 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 blah. When I was there singing, I heard them saying, build that wall, Phillips said as he wiped away tears in a video posted on Instagram. This is indigenous land. We're not supposed to have walls here. We never did. Now you're just grandstanding. Now you're just morally grandstanding on the reputation of these kids. He told the Washington Post that while he was drumming, he thought about his wife Shoshana, who died of bone marrow cancer nearly 4 years ago, and the threats that indigenous communities around the world are facing. Wow! Wow, so now you're dancing on the grave of your wife. Now that's what you're doing. Why is this important? Well, because you're trying to ruin the lives of these teenagers. State Rep. Ruth Buffalo, a North Dakota state lawmaker and member of the Mandan, Hidatsa and Arikara Nation, said she was saddened to see students showing disrespect to an elder who is also a U.S. military veteran at what was supposed to be a celebration of all cultures. What are you talking about? This was a March for Life rally that apparently coincided with an indigenous peoples rally, which has nothing to do with all cultures. It has to do specifically with indigenous culture. So what are you talking about? The behavior shown in that video is just a snapshot of what indigenous people have faced and are continuing to face. Wow. So, you can read the rest of the article here. Why is this important? This is important. It says, posted January 19th, Eastern Time. Last updated January 20th. Today's January 21st. Doesn't matter whether you're in Eastern or Pacific Time. This here's the second article I managed to find on CBC. Teen indigenous protester involved in face-off say they were trying to defuse, not provoke tensions. The student who stared and smiled at an elderly indigenous protester drumming in his face outside the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. as his schoolmates chanted and laughed says he did nothing to provoke the man in the videotaped confrontation and was only trying to calm the situation. The student identified himself in an emailed statement Sunday evening as Junior Nick Sandman of Covington Catholic High School in the northern Kentucky suburb of Cincinnati. An official working with the family confirmed Sandman's identity, speaking on condition of anonymity because the source didn't want to distract from the statement. I'm being called every name in the book, including a racist, and I will not stand for this mob-like character assassination of my family's name, wrote Sandman, who added that he and his parents have received death threats since video of what happened emerged. So both Sandman and Nathan Phillips essentially said they were trying to defuse the situation. But a video of Sandman standing close to Phillips, staring and at times smiling at him as Phillips sang and played a drum, gave many who watched it a different impression. Wow! Other students, many of them wearing Make America Great Again hats! Wow, and at least one can be seen on video doing a tomahawk chop. Wow, is this what we've come down to? Hand signals. Phillips said in an interview later he felt fear not for myself but for the next generation's fear of where this country is going. How pretentious, how smug, after having claimed that these students were hurling racial epithets at you. At you! If anything, they were the victims of racial epithets being hurled at them from the Hebrew Israelites, the African Americans who think that they are the original ethnic Jews. Wow. Phillips had approached Sandman, but well before that, both his group and Sandman's, which had taken part in the anti-abortion rally, were confronted by a third group that appeared to be affiliated with the Black Hebrew Israelite movement. Thank you! Thank you for finally mentioning them! Finally mentioning them! Wow. Videos show members of the religious group. Okay, you want to call them a religious group, really? Okay. They're more like a cult. Yelling disparaging and profane insults at the students who taunt them in return. Video also shows indigenous people being insulted by the small religious group. What's weird about this is the title of this article versus the title of the other article I was looking at. Really, they can't really be linked. You wouldn't, without context, you would not know which stories they were talking about. This one's supposed to be a follow-up to the one I read before. You would not know which one they were talking about. And that is horrible. Folks who might read one article might not read the other. And because of the nature of this discussion, the nature of this story, it is very toxic. People will just dig in their heels and they'll say, No, what that kid did was wrong. Could you watch the videos? Could you look at other news stories, perhaps? Could you verify the assumptions you've made, perhaps? Or the assumptions made by others around you, perhaps? No, can't do that. Not at all. Wow. Sandman wrote that the students were called racist, bigots, white crackers, and incest kids by the third group. You mean the Black Hebrew Israelites. He said a teacher chaperone gave the students permission to begin their school chants to counter the hateful things that were being shouted at our group. There's a bit of rehash in this article. The protester everyone has seen in the video began playing his drum as he waded into the crowd which parted for him. I did not see anyone try to block his path, Sandman wrote. He locked eyes with me and approached me, coming within inches of my face. He played his drum the entire time he was in my face. That's what Sandman says. Okay. So he was smiling, he was smirking, because he wrote that he believed that by remaining motionless and calm, I was helping defuse the situation. So, Covington Catholic High School is going to do an independent investigation. However, activists have already jumped on this and they are running with it, despite the fact that they were initially chasing the story under false pretenses. I love how this article does not state how many publications have retracted the story or how many celebrities have deleted their tweets in shame or in fear of being found out that they were full of shit for trying to destroy the lives of these teenagers. No, CBC doesn't mention any of that. They mention, however, Chase Iron Eyes, an indigenous activist from North Dakota who was at the Lincoln Memorial as the confrontation unfolded, said he blames the divisive language of U.S. President Donald Trump for what happened. In our country right now in the United States, there's a racially charged atmosphere, he said. Any objective, reasonable mind is going to be able to interpret that he's giving license to some of this behavior. What behavior? From who? From the black Hebrew Israelites? From the students? Smirking? Wow, so Donald Trump inspired a whole generation of MAGA hat wearing smirkers. What a real convincing argument you got there. Or is it from your native fellow there, drumming in people's faces, which frankly I didn't care about, but neither should CNN and all these other publications and CBC for running this story, simply copying and pasting these two articles from the Associated Press, not issuing, the proper corrections necessary, not saying sorry, not saying we messed up, and simply copying and pasting. They keep copying and pasting U.S. news. They can't keep getting away with it. So let's continue. Nikki Sanchez, an indigenous activist from BC who's a featured speaker at Friday's march, said she believes the video of the incident shows that there's still a lot of work to be done where's it? Where's the word it? Who edited this? When comes to attitudes toward indigenous people. Sadly, I think for many indigenous people, this clip was not shocking, this clip was not something new, this clip was a representation of the attitudes and behaviors that we experience as indigenous people on a daily basis. Wow. Because the kids did nothing wrong. CBC, the kids did nothing wrong. In the middle of the article, the Associated Press literally states that there's another side to the story. But then they close with this. This is the way they close, with an investigation and with testimony from indigenous activists, their reactions, their gut reactions to this video, to this almost 4-minute video. Really? This is the kind of journalistic integrity we can expect from the CBC? Copy and paste, copy and paste. Where's the originality? Why does CBC exist anyway? Why do we even give them a license to continue copying and pasting just like that willy-nilly? They could have copied and pasted, and they could have just added a little more value by saying, listen, well, why doesn't the CBC just author an article? Okay, they don't have to put any names on it because they're so ashamed all the time of being proven wrong. Don't! Own it! Own up to it! But if they didn't want to, all they had to do was write an article saying, listen, the Associated Press stories that we ran were false, or that we should have added that there was another side to the story, and we shouldn't have let such slanted nonsense get aired, or in this matter get in online print, on our website, without correcting the record. CBC did not do that, and for that, they are disgraceful. They are disgraceful. I've really got to hand it to Global News. They mentioned that, they have a March for Life rally video, so they actually acknowledge the March for Life. So video shows what happened before a standoff between student and indigenous protester. Overall, when you read this article, it is very balanced. You can slow down the video at any time to read it yourself. Or you could just search for the article yourself. I think I'm scrolling slow enough. So this is global news. And this is actually an article that serves as a bit of a sequel to this one that they released, which is Trump vows support to anti-abortion marchers in Washington. The fact is, even if global news is center-left or leftist in general, at least they bring something to the table, saying this is an event that exists. Okay. Now, let's see if I try to search up this story, not just the March for Life, but the student with indigenous protester, that encounter, on CBC. Okay, how about this? Search CBC.ca. How about this? Let's go to news. Okay. Student indigenous protester. Let's see. What do we get? No results found for a student indigenous protester. How about students indigenous protester? Yeah, there we go. Okay. This one is irrelevant. This one is irrelevant. This one's irrelevant. This one's irrelevant. This one's irrelevant. Okay. About Covington. Nope. Nope. Oh, that was the one that we just read. Okay, nope. 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 Timberwolves fire head coach. Nope. Nope. What more? Let's see. Let's see more. Let's read more. Nope. 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 Gang violence. Homicides in Ottawa. Nope. 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 You folks, you should try this out for yourselves if you want to verify what I've just done. None of these have anything to do. You can keep scrolling. I've already done this. How about Catholic High School students? What that? Nope. This is the same one we just read. Graphic novel for kids. Nope. Nope. Depicting two boys kissing. Nope. 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 Wow. Nope. So this is what happens when you try searching for the story. How about just, yes. Nope. Okay, that's the same article we just read. How about Indigenous demonstrator? Let's do that next. Indigenous demonstrator. Nope. Nope. Let's see. BC pipeline put. Nope. Artist. Nope. True cabinets. Nope. 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 None of that. So this just proves my point yet again. There were only 2 stories done on this issue by the CBC. These 2 stories run by the Associated Press. So the CBC hasn't made a single contribution to this story. Not a single one. They copied and pasted American news from the Associated Press. Yet Global News mentioned that there was a March for Life rally and that there were 2 sides to this issue. Global News has more integrity on this specific story than CBC does. Unbelievable. And this is a state-run broadcaster. They're not even broadcasting their own content all the time, which I guess is true for most news organizations. But for this story, for a story that is so potentially damaging to the identities of these teenage high school kids, these high school teens in America, I guess because they're American they don't matter. What's the criteria here? Where's the check? Who checks this content? Who verifies it? Who corrects it? No one, because it's from the Associated Press, and therefore the onus is on them to correct everything? No! It's on your website. You have to correct it. You have to say something. You have to strip away the bias and understand there's a human element here when you are personally indicting these high school teens for doing nothing. Nothing. Just as a quick addendum, look at CTV News. Okay, there's one video right here, slash article. There's another one over here. And there's another one here. And there's another one here. There are 4 of these video slash articles. Sorry, 5, including this one that I'm looking at right now. On CTV. Now, granted, they are from the Associated Press, but this one's from CTV News Channel. This one's from CTV National News. This one's from CTV. Not sure which this one's from. But my point in being is that CTV News at least had the gall and the integrity to generate their own content with regards to this. Let's click on this. Okay, so these are just broadcasts then, so they're 4 videos. But at least some of that content is original. At least some of that content is original. It wasn't simply pulled out of the Associated Press and plopped onto the screen, and they didn't just call it a day. At least they presented.
Well, we have a revealing update tonight on that chilling video shot just a short walk from the White House. It shows boys from a Catholic.
You can watch this yourself. But it just goes to show, why do we have a state broadcaster that is willing to provide support for character assassination articles and not provide any sort of correction on that matter? No original content, to notify the public that the mob they're creating, well, there shouldn't be a mob. Frankly, there shouldn't be a mob. These kids did nothing. So in light of all this, what is the lesson to be learned? Number 1, if you get into journalism, in any profession as a matter of fact, if you make a mistake, you have to admit that you made a mistake. That is the only way to fix a mistake. You have to first acknowledge there was a problem. Lesson number 2, don't jump the gun. Wait for all the facts, all the information to come in. There is no shame in conducting your business with integrity. In fact, that is precisely the pinnacle of journalistic excellence. That's when you conduct yourself with integrity, when you tell the truth, when you seek the truth. And oftentimes, seeking the truth is a long, arduous process. Heck, it may not even generate as many clicks to your website or to your outlet in general as much as if you lie or embellish it with such heavy, thick-coated bias that it could only give the viewer or mobilize a viewer into partaking in a radical agenda that benefits only the so-called moral superiors the left has become. I can tell you for certain that our moral superiors are not found in the journals of our cultural and intellectual elites who are willing, perfectly willing, to sabotage the lives of innocent high school teenage boys in exchange for a juicy, tasty narrative they can use to bludgeon to death the American and by proxy the Canadian citizen. We're not a racist country. But the left wants to make us racist. The left wants to make us wretched. Because the left, at its core, is evil.